Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw.
Welcome back to spoiler season, which is every other month or every month with Magic the Gathering. And we're going to start off with all the brand new cards just released from March of the Machines. I'm going to start off with Yargle and Multani. It is a legendary frog spirit elemental for 3 colors, 2 black, and a green. It's an 18/6. This guy is a straight up one-hitter quitter for commander damage. Honestly, all you're going to need to do is put some kind of trample, unblockable feature, and just +3, +0 to do 21 commander damage. And for a creature this powerful, yeah, 18/6 is pretty amazing. I like that he doesn't have any attributes, but he does have Multani's ability as a giant creature. Next card we have is Thalia and the Gitrog Monster for 1 colors and bant colors, which is white, black, and green. This is a legendary human frog warrior. It is a 4/4. It has first strike, death touch, and you can play an additional land on each of your turns. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Then it says, whenever Thalia and the Gitrog Monster attacks, sacrifice a land or a creature, then draw a card. This card is a powerful utility creature. It's a system engine on all its own. Playing an additional land. Are you kidding me? So you can ramp just like a Suka. Next up, your creatures and non-basic land your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. So that's preventing all those fetch lands accessing lands their first turn they come into play. And it slows down any hasty creatures and it makes your opponent open when they play a creature because they can't block because they come in tapped. Then finally, you're able to sacrifice a creature or land when Gitrog attacks, then draw a card. So that all is just giving you an engine itself. Gold Guard colors is going to be great for destroying creatures, destroying permanents, and the Gitrog Monster is just like total annihilator of permanents just due to its colors and its engine itself. Next card we have is Slimefoot and Squee. Jund colors, which is black, red, and green. It is a fungus goblin for 3/3. Whenever Slimefoot and Squee enters the battlefield or attacks, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. Tap 1, black, red, and a green, sack a sapling. Return Slimefoot and Squee and up to 1 other target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. What I like about this guy is Jund colors. So that guild has so many big stompy creatures. I prefer big stompy creatures. So you can bring them back just by sacrificing a sapling and tapping 4 mana. Then it doesn't say once per turn, so it's not that hard to put Slimefoot and Squee into the graveyard. There's so many sack outlets, so you can pay 4 mana, bring back Squee and another creature, sack them again, bring back Squee and another creature. That's very abusive. Wow. Oh yeah, actually it enters with a 1/1 sapling for you to do it. Cost effective. What makes me really think it's a powerful card is the enchantment that it's black. Whenever a creature comes in the battlefield, you lose 1 life and you get 1 black mana. Yeah, yeah. So you're getting 2. I will find that card and show it on the floor in a second. Next up we have is Omnath, Locus of All. It is white, blue, red, green, and Phyrexian black. It is a Phyrexian elemental that's a 4/4. It reads, if you would lose unspent mana, that mana becomes black instead. At the beginning of your pre-combat main phase, look at the top card of your library. You may reveal that card if it has 3 or more colored mana symbols in its mana cost. If you do, add 3 mana any combination of its colors and put it into your hand. If you don't reveal it, put it into your hand. What? This guy is another engine in itself. Is that the thing that they're going for right now? You don't lose mana, so you're just able to store black mana. That already makes me think of a Sanguinate, any tap X black cards. But who cares? Omnath is Uborg. What? He's Wooborg. So that gives you access to all colors and all those other spells. X spells. You're going to be able to cast major X spells. Maybe probably like Villainous Wealth. Yeah, that's a good one. Sheesh. Then you can actually kind of manipulate your deck into pulling that card, into revealing that card when you have Omnath on the field. Next card we have is Jin-Gitaxias. He is a 5/5 Phyrexian Praetor for 5 mana total, 3 colors, 2 blue. He has Ward 2. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell with mana value 3 or greater, draw a card. Okay. Tap 4 mana total, 3 colors, and a blue. Exile Jin-Gitaxias. Then return it to the battlefield transformed under its owner control. Activate only as a sorcery and only if you have 7 or more cards in your hand. That's kind of difficult. Having 7 or more cards in your hand, but it is blue, so it's definitely possible. Happens more often than not. Next up is his saga that he transforms into, which is called the Great Synthesis. Draw cards. So the first one is draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. You have no maximum hand size for as long as you control the Great Synthesis. 2, return all non-Phyrexian creatures to their owner's hand. 3, you may cast any number of spells from your hand without paying their mana cost. Exile the synthesis, then return it to the battlefield. What? This is crazy. Okay, so he's already a draw engine himself. Generally, he is for all the Jin-Gitaxias cards. So you play a counter spell, you get a card. You play a suspend card, you get a card. Okay, then you can easily get up to 7 cards in your hand. Transform him into the Great Synthesis. Then, if you already have 7 cards in your hand, chapter 1, you draw another 7, so that's like possibly 14 cards. Then he turns into an evacuation on chapter 2, returning all non-Phyrexian creatures to their owner's hands. Then 3, since you had 14 cards in your hand, you can play as many spells as you want to. I think the only problem with this card is mono blue. I'm not a fan of mono blue because all those cards are generally returning permanents owner's hands or counter spells. But if you have Jin-Gitaxias in another color and you're able to play as many spells as you would like and have 14 cards in your hands, you should be winning that game. The game's over. Game's over. Next up we have is Katilda and Lier. For green, white, and a blue, it is a human 3/3. Whenever you cast a human spell, target instant or sorcery card in your graveyard gains flashback until end of turn. The flashback cost is equal to its mana cost. Okay, first up, this makes me think this is a really good attacking creature. The reason why, if you're going wide and you previously played maybe a white or green card that pumped up your creatures, right? So when you go to your attack phase, before your attack phase, you play a human spell. And whatever instant or sorcery card that's in your graveyard that is a pump up for your creatures, those anthems, you get to cast it again. That's the way I look at Katilda and Lier. Next cards we have is Heliod the Radiant Dawn. For 2 colors, 2 white, it's a god, legendary enchantment creature, as usual, 4/4. He says, when Heliod the Radiant Dawn enters the battlefield, return target enchantment card that isn't a god from your graveyard to your hand. Okay, recursion. Tap 3 colors and Phyrexian blue, transform Heliod the Radiant Dawn, activate only as a sorcery. Alright, he transforms into Heliod the Warped Eclipse. You may cast spells as though they have flash. And spells you cast cost 1 less to cast for each card your opponents have drawn this turn. It is a legendary enchantment creature, Phyrexian god. Wow. Okay, first off, if you didn't notice, it does not have indestructible. I repeat, it does not have indestructible. So opponents and players know that this can be removed. However, it gives you the ability to add flash to any spell. And if you're rocking white and blue in your colors, those blue sorcery spells become even more powerful. And that's easy to transform them. 3 mana and 2 life? That's nothing. That's nothing. To have the artifact that pretty much makes everything instant speed. Man, wow. Then you pretty much get enabled for any heavy CMC cost because if an opponent drew a card on their turn, which is at least 1, your spells are reduced by 1 on their turn, and because you can play it as flash. That's crazy. Next card we have is Ghalta and Mavren. It's a heavy 7 mana, 3 colors, 2 green, 2 white. It's a 12/12 dinosaur vampire. It does have trample. It says whenever you attack, choose 1. Create a tapped and attacking XX green dinosaur creature token with trample, where X is the greatest power among other attacking creatures. Then tap or create X11 white vampire creature tokens with lifelink, where X is the number of other attacking creatures. Okay, so it gives you flexibility. The dinosaur ability, it comes in tapped and attacking. So that is another 12/12. Whenever you attack, if you attack with Ghalta and you choose the dinosaur ability, you're swinging at your opponent with another 12/12. Wow. And it has trample. And remember, these tokens don't die at the end of combat or get exiled. It's on the battlefield. If you use the second ability, your vampires come into play and they can be blockers to build yourself a nice defensive wall, and they have lifelink. However, it is kind of limited because it depends on the number of other attacking creatures. So if you swing with 2 creatures, you're only going to get 2 1/1s. Is that worth it? Well, it's good because you get flexibility. You can go aggressive or play defensive. That's not a bad card. Not a bad card. Next up, we have Goro-Goro and Satoru. He is Grixis Colors. It's a goblin human with 3/4 power and toughness. It reads, whenever one or more creatures you control that enter the battlefield this turn deal combat damage to a player, create a 5/5 red dragon spirit creature token with flying. Tap 1 and a red, creatures you control gain haste until end of turn. Well, that bottom ability is definitely Goro-Goro. That's cool that you can create a 5/5 dragon spirit. So obviously this is kind of straightforward where you want to attack and get creatures through to your opponents for combat damage. So this is going to be very aggro-ish, but I think players are going to overlook is Grixis capabilities. So yeah, you're going to start this creature off with low-end CMC creatures that can hit your opponent to create a 5/5 red dragon. But it's Grixis Colors. So that gives you that second level of abilities or damage that you can do to your opponents. Because I'm a spell slinger player. But yeah, be on the lookout for another video for Goro-Goro. I like this guy right here. And the final card we have today is Drana and Linvala. For 1 color, it's 2 white and a black. It's a vampire angel, 3/4 power and toughness. It has flying vigilance. Activate abilities of creatures your opponents control can't be activated. Drana and Linvala have all activated abilities of all creatures your opponents control. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to activate those abilities. Okay, this card is abusive. Abusive. Personally, I don't like stealing other people's creatures or using their abilities because it seems like your deck has to. Most likely it won't synergize. But I'm not saying that it doesn't work. Drana and Linvala to me seems more like a card that you add into your 99. Just because the ability is just so locked down. And it's so locked down. Even if you use it as your commander, you know your opponent's commanders. You can see which ones have activated abilities. So they're going to just game plan around you playing Drana and Linvala. And it's aristocrat, so I feel like it's limited. It's just it's better in the 99. Thank you for watching another Commander Claw video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you stay tuned, you'll be getting 2 videos suggested by YouTube. So feel free to watch any of those videos and continue the fun.